Stop that.
I hear him chat to the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize, white girls let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan, if you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees, I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. You can't go on, man, forget my peace. You take the west, I'll take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the I hear him chat to the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys, man so tough, but man's keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize, white girls, let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan, if you wanna touch my please use caution. Stop that, stop that, stop that.
I am not confident right now. I'm sorry I'm starting this way. I hate when I start this way. There is so much to talk about. Lucy, I think, Dan Marino thinks she is stalking him. I don't have time at the moment to get to that.
Wow.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, I don't
I'm not, by the way. I'm not.
I know. I'll get to that in a second. We have to get to that.
That's what a stalker would say, though.
That is what a stalker would say.
You got me there, damn. I don't have a comeback for that.
Okay, it is a wildly interesting day in the industry because Shannon Sharp has gotten to the top of the podcast game and he's fighting with Mike Epps, and this is great for business. And Simmons is fighting with McAfee, and McAfee is fighting with Simmons, and the whole industry's changing, and Nick Wright's showing up to work in a truck with a red suit because he's a Chiefs fan, and he zigged when everyone else was zagging. He just doubled down all his bets on LeBron is great, Patrick Mahomes is great, and everyone will move far away from me, and Nick Wright wins. He is going to get paid so much money in this economy. But because everybody just got back from the Super Bowl and everyone realized it's all brands, all brand management collapsing against each other. Here come Bert and Segura selling vodka to McAfee. Like it's the podcast games and wars all came the economy there where the gambling was, and we all threw a giant party. And in the middle of it, the star was not shirtless Bert Kreischer. They're worried he's got a drinking problem. It was Greg motherfucking Cody. And he knows it. And he knows it. He's not.
And you know it.
He's not here on time today. Stugotz still smells like Vegas.
Vegas won. I mean, no one won more than Las Vegas. I am telling you, everyone is exhausted. We spoke to Austin Eckler yesterday, Dan. That guy has more energy than anyone. He was exhausted. He did an appearance at Albertsons.
Stugotz, the color of your skin looks corpsey. Am I wrong about this? Vegas does seem to have beaten him in.
Where's my dad?
Where is your dad?
Like,
let me tell you what's happened here. First of all, it's gone to the head of one of the members of Hee Haw 3, whether it's he or Haw over here. They gave their exclusive first interview after killing Vegas to the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody. So he wants to come in here and relive his big conquering of Vegas, and I can't get in his way. He was the star. He kicked Vegas's ass. He flogged Vegas.
And how does he respond to us with it? By showing up late the first show back.
Well, he's a star.
Yeah, but, remember how you got there.
I believe it's a holdout.
Where is he here yet or is he not here yet? Because the other part I've got the problem with today that makes me most scared is that Billy's in charge.
Don't you guys ride a train? Like, how are you guys late?
Nah, the Bright Line switched its time, so now we're back to driving.
He's waiting for his limo.
Look, guys, this is what I'm saying, okay? I had an emotional breakdown over the last 2 years that concluded with Mike Ryan throwing a Super Bowl party and then quitting his job. And now Billy's in charge.
Well, I didn't ask for this.
I didn't ask for any of this.
Yeah,
Attaboy.
You literally did not ask for any of this. The executive producer position has been open, and who got in? The child of privilege, the Nepo baby. Snuck in.
I work hard.
Took everyone else's job.
I come here.
And today you're in charge. Why are you in charge?
I don't know. Mike needed a break from doing whatever
Because he's
he
fried?
does.
Because he's fried, whatever it is he does. Well, what he would say he did is launch the careers of the Las Vegas band on his last act as punctuation. That he wanted to quit executive producer after making the musical, so instead he made Greg Cody the musical. Hee Haw 3 performing for Wu-Tang, Wayne Newton, and Flava Flav introducing him.
Yeah, let's make it clear. Not performing for Wu-Tang. We are now members of Wu-Tang, Dan.
That did happen. That happened in front. That was certified. That's notified. That had a notary on it. Jeremy, explain to people why you are now an official member of Wu-Tang, unlike one of the people who I think was on that stage, DJ Mathematics, who I was told was on the stage, may or may not have been on the stage, but he is not an official member of Wu-Tang. And why are you looking at me like that?
Well, he was on the stage. I mean,
but Jeremy is.
Oh.
I don't know if Mathematics was on the stage. I'm still not sure who was on the stage.
Mathematics isn't a member of Wu-Tang? That doesn't add up. Anyway, I am a member of Wu-Tang because we played a pretty great tribute.
No, not
That's
gotcha.
not right.
It's the wrong one.
Billy, I hit loser game show sound.
You're blaming Billy, huh?
It was Billy's fault. Billy.
He didn't ask for any of this.
I mean, that too.
That works.
So Billy's in charge. Billy, you rule with an iron fist.
I got it.
Where's Greg Cody?
I don't know.
Okay, we need him in here because it's all gone to his head. Jeremy, you did. I'm sure this will be the most downloaded episode ever of the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody because he had the star exclusive access to Yeti and Jeremy, who are the members of
Tough gets, honestly, for us.
Well, he really just got Jeremy because Yeti's on every week anyway. So Jeremy,
It was tough to get me. I mean, we were having a pretty good time. Look, Hee Haw 3 is a raging sensation right now. Up to almost 400 followers on Twitter, Dan. I mean, come on. At this point, we are a rising star as a group that definitely isn't headed for a breakup.
And
at
Greg
some point.
Cody didn't want to be on Twitter. I'm telling you, that's how you do it these days. Like, I get it. You're a little late to the Twitter game. You know, Vegas, you did your own thing there without social media, but you got to ride the success you guys are riding.
No, this is it. We're already having fights over merch. That's already happening. It's going to be interesting to see how these egos play out. But look, we're members of Wu-Tang now. After our tribute to them where Greg Cody sang the words, "Oh, baby, I like it raw," they officially welcomed us into the group. And I mean,
did
at this
anyone else
point,
feel
come on.
sarcasm with that? I kind of felt like they
No.
weren't. That was
No, they
insincere.
stopped the interview to say, hey, let's make sure we give a shout out to our new members of Wu-Tang right over there, the Hee Haw 3.
Okay,
I mean,
look,
come on, it's real.
This part is important. Video, I ask you at some point to get that because we will find out together. If there's video that's not AI of Wu-Tang notarizing Jeremy and Hee Haw 3, they can now license themselves as official members of Wu-Tang.
We already have.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
That seems like a legal battle.
They said
if
it.
I've ever heard
They
one.
said it.
They said it.
We have the video proof. What do you mean? It seems like
Is
a
it
legal
binding?
battle.
I mean, I don't know.
I heard there's also an upcoming legal battle as to who owns the name the Hee Haw 3 between Meadowlark and the Hee Haw 3.
Oh, geez.
Has that already started?
I've heard rumblings that's going on in the background. I don't know if that's something we're supposed to bring out on air.
Look,
but
I'm a happy employee of Meadowlark Media. I don't know what the Greg Cody Show with featuring Greg Cody is doing in regard to the Hee Haw 3, but that's a Yeti Blanc and Greg Cody issue for me, Dan. Happy member of
Billy,
Meadowlark.
if you are going to make Jeremy rise in this career, you are now an executive. Look at the seat.
I didn't come today thinking, how do I help Jeremy rise? If I'm going to be perfectly
Why not?
honest with you.
I've been really nice to you.
Yeah, you have been, but,
We're friends.
got to take care of Daddy first.
You're a nice guy.
Okay, but
Just wordy.
All
Thanks,
right,
Stu.
But one of the things
That's right.
that will take care of Daddy is if he builds careers for others. Jeremy is an Emmy-winning sports broadcaster. None of us have done that, and yet the confines of the industry makes it so he wants to sing and dance. And this game, look, as happy
In
as
fairness, he's not a Tony winner, okay? He can sing and dance when he wins a Tony. He's an Emmy winner. Stick to doing the Emmy stuff. And by the way, I think we can all admit this. Emmys are all into question, right? Like after that whole thing where we found out fake Emmys were being given out and awarded to people that didn't exist, and then we were just putting fake plaques on them. Like, how do we know Jeremy's Emmy is real? Not to be that guy, but how do we know it's real?
I mean, I did the work. I got the Emmy. My name's on it. It's not a fake name. It's my name.
Tell it to restate.
Emmy Award winner, Jeremy Tasha. Looking right in the camera.
and now he wants to be a musical star. He wants to
Grammy Award winner.
If I told him, look, man, Jeremy, if I made you, tell me what was the better feeling, performing behind Greg Cody or going up on stage and winning your Emmy?
I mean, I didn't go on stage to win my Emmy. They gave it to me because I didn't attend the Suncoast Emmys, unfortunately. I believe I was doing work for this company at the time. But
editing.
Yeah.
Editing
Editing
for this
things.
company, yes.
But at the same time, I would say being on stage in Vegas, performing, introduced by Flavor Flav, having Wu-Tang Clan compliment us after a performance, like, that was one of the coolest experiences of my entire life. Thanks to the man walking in right now with his sunglasses, Greg Cody of the Hee Haw 3.
Don't take them off.
All right.
Right
all
through
right. So
every
wait,
camera
no,
shot.
wait, Greg,
He doesn't
Greg,
care.
Greg.
Mic on?
All right, just for a second. Greg, please just stop. Look, I know you are a roller coaster of emotion.
It's a million reasons why I'm late today. Nothing having to do with traffic. It's unbelievable.
Greg?
What a morning I've had.
Greg, I need you to leave the room for a second. Just leave the room. Go back. Look, he is drunk on star power right now. Just leave the room, Greg. Leave the room.
Here we
The
were
cameras,
thinking it was traffic. It had nothing to do with traffic.
No,
Okay.
no.
Just slow down for a second.
Poor Jama's stuck in there.
I'm sorry, Jama. Yes, Jama, what's happened right now is, Billy, I knew this was coming in.
Hey,
Billy, he is drunk on liquor from 4 days and the rocket fuel of ego that is he thinks he's a star now.
He is a star.
He is.
yeah, he's a star.
Yeah.
And so he just rolled in here and he was told, and he's got to slow down because he's too big for this show now. He's got to come in and stand behind me and put his headset on. He barreled in here in front of the cameras because he can't wait to talk about himself and the fact that he's been stuck in traffic and has been denied these 5 minutes
No
to talk.
traffic.
It wasn't traffic.
Yeah.
He told us that. That's what we did here.
Greg, please come in here more slowly. Chris, walk him in by the arm. Just drag him to the place like you're walking him to career hospice, please.
As he had to do in the airport because of how drunk he was.
Just gently, because
Career hospice. His career is just taking off.
Right.
Oh, there he goes, right in front of the cameras again.
Third time. The Hattie.
all right. Look,
The problem with this is that we had a bit set up, and now it doesn't make any sense because
There's a
we
lot
didn't walk
going on.
this through. Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
this is the difference between the bit and real life, Billy. Yes, you guys had something set up, but I knew he was going to come in dying to talk about himself. And you guys have to produce him because all he wants to do right now is do an interview about how special that week was to him. It's what he wants to do for 4 hours.
I have top 5 Greg Cody moments from Las Vegas from last week.
I want to hear it.
Only 5?
I can do 10 if you give me a minute. Okay.
Take your time.
Sorry.
No,
Sorry.
wait.
And Dan, you need to understand, it is hard for Greg Cody, because he's such a big star now, to get from, station A to station B. It's hard to get place to place. I mean, the fan club, the fanfare, autograph seekers, you know the deal.
So Greg, wait, just to be clear, If he gives me a top 5 Greg Cody moments from Vegas, you think you're going to be able to give me a different 5?
Probably, yeah. And one of them would be this morning because I have to tell you, I apologize for being late. My PA promised me that I would be here by 8:30, but it's Hee Haw 3 Day in Miami-Dade County. The mayor had a ceremony for me like an hour ago. Government runs slow. The mayor, he talks forever. I got the
I wasn't
gigantic
invited,
key
Greg?
to the city. I'm sorry, Jeremy.
You going off as a solo act here from the Hee Haw 3?
They just wanted me. I apologize.
This is unbelievable.
Key
Jeremy,
to the city, huh?
Touche Tache, valuable member of the Hee Haw 3, by the way.
Thank you.
We love you, Jeremy.
Who owns Hee Haw 3?
For sale or rent, rooms to let 50 cent. All right, I'm happy to be here.
Okay, you know what? I actually like when you do sing that. People, I've got to back up for a second, okay? Because
Slow down.
Yeah, I've been too aggressive. My friend, the star of Hee Haw 3, Greg Cody and the Hee Haw 3, even though there are only 2.
There's 3, technically.
Well, no, but Greg Cody and the Hee Haw 3.
Right. Well, it sounds better than Greg Cody among the Hee Haw 3.
He's pulling double duty. He's both Greg Cody and one of the Hee Haws.
Thank
Dan.
you.
Right. Yes.
That's why he gets more of the cut.
Really
There's a theme
nailed that.
there.
No,
Right. Nailed it.
no, I thought there was only one he and one haw.
I am the Haw. They've been treating me more like a he, but I'm a Haw.
There's only one haw and one he. There are not 2 he's and a haw. It's Greg Cody and the Hee Haw 3.
There's a he, a haw, and I'm the 3.
And the Greg.
Well, for what it's worth, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, there are only 4 members there. So it's Frankie Valli is one of the Four Seasons.
Right.
So Greg Cody is one of the Hee Haw 3.
Exactly.
Let's get it right.
Zagacki.
And they followed us, by the way.
All right, so he's a big, giant hit in Vegas, and I'm sure this is going to be his most downloaded podcast ever, The Greg Cody Show, featuring Greg Cody, with exclusive access to members of Hee Haw 3. Their first interview since hitting global musical stardom.
That's correct. Yeah.
But you have been, for 3 days, weepy emotional, and I want his top 5 list, and then I want your top 5 list. Because we're going to celebrate Greg Cody today, because he deserves it. Because a 69-year-old sports writer dominated Vegas entertainment.
Nice.
I mean, come on. Come on. Are you shitting me? Are you shitting me? Wayne Newton, Wu-Tang, and Flava Flav came to Genuflect because Greg Cody likes it raw.
Oh, baby, I like it raw.
All right, we got it.
Yeah, baby, I like it raw.
So good.
Do you have any OLIs, Stugotz, or is it just going right to it?
I just have a straight 5.
Number 5.
After eating, some of the most delicious fried rice I've ever had, Greg told me he was going to recreate that dish at home, and he called himself Chef Greg.
That's his move. Anytime he has a dish that he really likes, I'm going to recreate that. That fried rice was amazing.
I bought the brisket already. I did.
Interesting.
It's in my freezer.
Try to risk it to get the brisket. Am I right?
Thank you,
Damn
Billy.
right.
Excellent work. Number 4.
Greg and Yeti leaving the bar early on Thursday night because Greg wanted to rest his vocal cords for Friday's concert.
You have to.
Well, Yeti.
Yeah, Yeti was also
Yeti.
being a bit protective. And by the way, didn't invite me to leave the bar to protect my vocal cords. And one of us had a solo on Friday.
Yeti wanted to protect your vocal cords.
It honestly
my
felt-
dad didn't want to leave.
It felt like it was like a conservatorship or something. Like he was
That's
like,
kind of what the whole week felt
No,
like.
but it was like we were there. And then Yeti was like, well, Greg's got to go. And then like Greg is there and he's like throwing it back because he's having a good time because he's Greg Cody. And, you know, he just had a great show. And he's like, Greg, we need to go now to rest your vocal cords. And Greg was like, yeah. And he's like, and then he just ushered him away, seemingly against his will.
It's because Greg Cody slingshotted Yeti to musical stardom where he was performing before Wu-Tang and Wayne Newton. And he's got genuine musical talent, unlike the Codys.
My team wanted me out of that bar because, you know, when I drink too much beer, it affects my voice. I go down a quarter of an octave, which on the professional level means the world. You know, it means I can't quite get up to the key I need. And long story short, my staff just really wanted me back in the hotel that night.
That's as drunk as you've ever seen him, Chris?
After the show Friday, I
At
was
the end of
about as
that,
drunk as
is that as drunk? Was he drunker than when he knocked my brother's paintings off his first art exhibit?
For me, the most drunk I've seen him was the bush. When he fell into the bush outside of my mom's house, that was up there.
He could have fallen into a bush at the end of that night, and you wouldn't have been surprised. Your father was weepy drunk at 5 p.m. that night.
The scariest part of that day was going to the airport. I have TSA pre. My dad does not. Of course, I'm not going to not go through TSA pre. So I had to leave my dad for like a 10-minute period of like, you go through your security, I'll go through mine. I'm like talking to him like he's a child. I'm like, go through this thing. Don't talk to anybody.
This is one of my favorite things I've ever witnessed.
While he was
Chris.
drunk,
Yeah,
you just left him alone?
a very drunk Greg Cody. Well, that's also in part because we forgot.
I paid for TSA pre, guys.
Yeah, but we also forgot to check our bags, so we had to go back and check our bags. So we had to walk back down to the other side of the gate and leave a drunk Greg Cody off on his own. He said that when we finally got there to find him, that he was about to call somebody because he forgot
where we went.
Okay,
He was like, I was just about to call you.
All right,
Where'd you go?
All right, if I may, okay, if I may. And I would not blame Greg Cody if this is how he feels right now. I have his back 100% on this. How the hell do you think Johnny Cash would leave Vegas after being the hit of Vegas?
Thank
he
you.
would do so on a bender and expect his entourage to take care of him every minute because he's the fucking show.
Damn right.
Yes, also on a private jet.
Until things are brighter, I'm the man in black. Johnny Cash.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Johnny Cash tribute there. I am told we have, Billy, I am told we have Wu-Tang video of some sort. Do you know what this is? Is this notarizing that Jeremy and Hee Haw 3 are indeed now members of Wu-Tang?
I don't know what this is.
All right, let's see what we've got here. You tell me if, Stugotz, you sign this official. Is this them signing off on Jeremy can absolutely bill himself as an official member, unlike mathematics, an official member of Wu-Tang?
And I want y'all to make some noise for the new Wu-Tang members over here on the left side with that dirty remix of I Like It Raw. That was dope. I like that.
There was no equivocation there. Like they
members.
They volunteered it.
It's official. That was also number 3 on my list.
Oh, sorry. Number 3.
That's
okay, but that's pretty good on the list. That's pretty high. We've got 2 better than that. And Cody's got 5 he thinks are better than that.
Yes, he had a week, Dan.
Number 2.
Number 2, me and Greg Cody walking out of a steakhouse, walking into a very small private room that Joe Montana was occupying, walking out of the room, and minutes later, Greg still not knowing he was in a room with Joe Montana.
Correct. I saw him from behind, in fairness to me.
In their defense, that was one of the more confusing layouts for a steakhouse.
Yes.
I tried to go to the bathroom once, and I made like 6
Chris,
wrong turns.
let me explain what I learned about Vegas this trip. How am I walking past so many banquet halls to get to a room where there are super private celebrity people and people are just eating meat? Like it's through you're walking through.
Can you clarify that?
You're walking through galaxies of ballrooms.
So did you guys talk to Joe? Like, what happened?
No, we didn't say a word to him. I just kept telling your dad, hey, that's Joe Montana. And then minutes later, we're having the conversation, and still he had no idea it was Joe Montana.
What I'm saying is you walk through galaxies of rooms, and there's Jerry Rice having dinner with Joe Montana. And there's Greg Cody sitting next to them, not knowing he's in a room with Joe Montana.
That's because he's the biggest star.
That's correct. Where are we on this? Number 1?
Number 1, yes. Greg Cody being introduced by Flavor Flav as Greg Coates.
Yes, that was that he
Really
got
good.
he got the name Hee Haw 3 right, but he did not get Greg Cody's name right.
I'm convinced that was him being such a fan of the show that he knows the word combos that Chris does, and he was thinking Greg Cody and the GOAT, so Greg Coat.
Well, let's hear this. I want to replay this here because this was surreal. All of this was surreal.
Hey, yo, check this out, G, on the strip. Yo, we got Greg Coat. We got Greg Coat and Hee Haw 3.
Yes.
I cannot tell you how insane it is to have been introduced by Flavor Flav. It's insane.
So great.
All right, you don't have 5 better than that, Greg.
I got to get a pair of Flavor Flav's sunglasses, first of all. I need those, the white rims. No, I don't have 5 better than that, but I have 5 that are personal to me. Number 5 is I quickly figured out a way to get a free drink, which is right after the 2 live performances. I'm theatrically looking around for Christopher, explaining to any fans in my vicinity that I don't have my wallet. I left my wallet in the room. I have no money. I'm dying for a Bloody Mary. And people are like falling over themselves to buy me a free Bloody Mary. And so that worked well for me. Anything involving a free drink I love, and that's number 5.
All right.
How about that?
Number 4.
Number 4 is during rehearsals on Wednesday when we were going through our hit song Viva Greg Cody, and the whole crew was walking out. And I could, from 100 yards away, I could practically see the smiles on everyone's face. In that moment when we're rehearsing the most ridiculous song ever written, and you guys are walking out, that was a special moment for me.
Oh, the voice is cracking. We might be able to get some real emotion here from Greg Cody.
Oh, I'm going to be a wreck.
Number
today
3.
If you lead me there.
Number 3.
Number 3, honestly, this is hyper personal, but getting a chance to talk to Valerie a lot, and personally and privately, one-on-one, at that after party Friday was very special to me. What a wonderful woman. I got to know her a little bit better, and much to my delight. So that was number 3.
How do you remember that? You were hammered at that point. You had been weepy from drinking too much with Frank Thomas the night before.
The big hurt.
And that's good vodka, by the way. FT35. That's fantastic. But the vice president of operations of the Circa, the wonderful Circa Resort and Casino, he also was buying me free drinks.
This is the new and unimproved Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.
Let me tell you, back in my day, we respected the game. You know what? I messed up the lyrics on that because I don't have my I don't have
Your
my
teleprompter?
scroll. My
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
teleprompter.
All right,
Yeah.
so look.
I'm nervous.
All right, he's been unmasked. Okay, this is what's just happened here. I'm going to explain to the audience. It was very simple. They were counting him in, and he was supposed to sing a song. And then the pressure arrived, and he choked, and he forgot all the words to his hit song.
The hit song.
Okay, but Billy, okay.
I'm surprised he didn't start doing bra da da dee bra da
I should
da
have.
dee.
It would have been better. It honestly would have been better.
I got a thing.
Billy, all right.
Greg, the idea today was that you were going to be the musical guest, kind of performing in and out of breaks. You're going to be a Paul Schaefer of sorts.
We were going to be able to recreate what we got in Vegas. Now, this is where it gets unmasked, though. People don't see how much Hee Haw 3 we're doing to prop Greg Cody up. How much? Wait.
Me up.
Other way around,
No. I heard Yeti whispering to him so gently.
5, 6, 7, 8.
I mean, no, Yeti.
You say whispering gently. It was a little heavy-handed.
Okay.
The mic even picked up him saying, "Go, start."
Okay, look. Greg Cody needs a lot of help, but he's the star. And no one here disputes that he's the star. No one. He rocked Vegas and deserves every accolade he gets today.
I think Yeti's trying to point out, though, and he did so several times over the weekend, that, hey, I'm the reason for Greg Cody's success. I mean,
I don't think he ever pointed that out, did he?
Privately. I think
Really?
A couple people he pulled us aside.
Really?
And he said,
He
Greg would be
doesn't
nothing
say
without
it.
me.
No.
He doesn't
Yeah.
say it, but he does enough. He wants you to say it.
Yeah, he's looking for it.
Well, Yeti is the musical director of the Hee Haw
He
3
is.
and my personal voice coach, so I am going to give him some flowers here.
Okay.
Some people
The man
said-
behind the man.
Some people said
Yeah.
you'd be nothing without him. Did he say that?
Well, they're wrong.
I'm not
He
the
may
one
have
to
said
say.
that,
I'm
yeah.
not the one to say that.
Greg, we interrupted you in the middle of number 3. Do you remember where you were?
I don't remember number 3. I think I finished with it. I don't know.
it was Valerie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. You
Yeah.
talked to my wife for a while. Well, no,
It's a
I wanted
beautiful
to go
thing.
back here for a second because at that point in the evening, you were rip-roaring drunk from 2 straight days of partying and living hard in Vegas and crushing Vegas. You had liquor on your breath. And Chris Cody, you're telling me he had a lot more to drink after that he was mixing and matching and he was going crazy. It was a full – you've never been on a bender like this through Vegas with your father.
Never been on a bender with like that. I had to stop drinking. He was so drunk. I was like, both of us can't be showing up to the airport like this. Jeremy's like, we can't, because Jeremy was on our flight. It's like, Jeremy's going to be in charge of these 2 idiots. So I was like, you know what? Water's for the kid. Gonna have a nice sad burger at the diner at the airport, and drunk Jess and drunk Greg are gonna keep partying. And I'm just gonna make sure that Greg gets to his. And did my dad get the best sleep of his life on that flight?
Oh, my God. It was like a 19-hour flight. I slept the entire time, didn't get up once to go to the bathroom.
This guy's a monster. He doesn't need any neck pillow. He doesn't. This is how my dad sleeps. This is how my dad sleeps on a plane. Ready?
That's right. Chin on chest.
Chin on chest.
Oh, yeah.
Eyes shut the entire. I know
right.
eyes shut would be weird if his eyes weren't shut, but it
Eyes
is
wide
just-
open.
Chris, back in his day, that's the only option he had.
I'm looking back for a belly moving. That's all I'm looking back for. I'm like, is he breathing? Yep, he's breathing. We're good.
Back in his day, sleep. Back in my day, a man could just.
Correct.
Your neck must be so sore after 5 straight hours of just neck straight down.
Yeah, I do neck calisthenics every morning.
No, you don't.
I rotate my neck in clockwise and counterclockwise for about 10 minutes.
Number 2.
Number two.
He's
was
making this up on the fly.
When, yeah, I didn't expect that. Number 2 was the room, the production room, where the entire crew and cast would gather every day.
The room.
What's that?
Just the room.
It's a room.
No,
It's-
you know what?
It's like a banquet room.
You know what? I'm gonna
with him.
I'm gonna endorse this. No, that's our crew. That's our
Yeah.
company. That was 40 people put together a month. Man, we went to Vegas and had the biggest, best thing. Everyone could see it. Like that room put that together. So he was grateful. You have a better moment than that because I'm right there with you on that one.
I was super grateful. John was our stage guy. He took care of the Hee Haw 3, and he's probably tired of me complimenting him so many times in Las Vegas on how much we appreciated him in particular.
No love for Fuentes, huh?
Everybody was great, but John was the one I was dealing with directly. If there was any problem, if there was any question, he was right there.
He was your go-between. He was your management.
He really was great.
Yeah.
We heard from him multiple times.
Greg, you wanted a staff, and you got a staff. And
Yes.
you kicked Vegas's ass because you had a small staff.
Yep, yeah, I did. Yeah, and number one, and I could talk about this all day, and I would get very emotional doing so. But number one was the performance of Lovely Cruise, which I consider to be an opus moment in my life and in my career, because the lines blur between what's my life and what's my career, because I'm so grateful to work with my friends, to work with my son. So work feels like real life type thing. And that moment to me, I was pretty nervous about hitting the first note. And when I started off on key, Yeti gave me a little smiling nod like I was good, because he was worried about me on that song. But I think I performed it as well as I can, and I think I rose to the moment. I felt very proud and just beyond happy as that song was playing out.
How many times have you watched it?
100,000 times.
100,000.
100,000.
Yeah, 100.
Honestly, so have I.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was terrific. I really enjoyed it.
That's going to be
kinda
hard to
thing.
beat, Stugotz. That was pretty cool.
I mean, The Room was number 2.
He's right. It's
When he
just-
said The Room, I lost track of what are we even counting down?
It was a banquet hall and some sandwiches.
Was this places you went
It can't be The Room.
in Vegas?
Well catered.
It can't be The Room. Was it well catered?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Sanchez.
I didn't eat much. I would have liked a little tub of beer on ice in the room, but I get it. I get that.
You should have put in your writer.
I should have, yeah. I didn't drink until after the show, which is probably why I performed so well if I did.
It was 7 a.m.
That's fair.
Do you guys realize that at some point in the future, if this company succeeds with whatever it is that song made him feel, because I'm going to say it was love, because that's what I felt and feel for him all the time. Yeah, so my brother passed away recently, and this man has been our brother throughout. A teacher, a mentor, one of the best friends I have ever had of any kind, who loves me dearly and entrusts the future of his family to me. So to see him do all of that in front of people and hit a song as a grateful note, because this is the punctuation of his career, and it is, I mean, it's loving. It's a loving thing.
If I'm being honest, I thought of Dave a lot during that song, because the lyrics are very metaphorical, and they can stand for saying goodbye and time being too short and all that. And that's why when you were on stage with your arm on my shoulder, I couldn't look at you, because I was thinking of Dave, particularly during that break. And if I looked at you, I would have lost track of the song and maybe openly cried. And so I tried to be as stoic as I could, but my heart was very full during that entire performance.
I will
Same.
I will note for the audience, I don't think that's sincere. I don't think that.
What do you mean?
I mean, he was taking your shine. He was taking your shine. You didn't feel love for him in that moment?
I did. I mean, I said same.
Greg put it perfectly.
I can't elaborate much more. I don't know if you felt the same, but I did.
If I felt, I'll tell you what I felt. I will tell you what I felt, because this, I was moved several times about the absurdity of all of that, and it being very much my brother's sense of humor, because the idea that you're performing for Wu-Tang and Flava Flav is introducing you is my brother's sense of humor. Like, all of that, seeing it unspool in front of me was wildly moving, but also moving from within that, talking to our fans for 4 hours afterwards and knowing how they follow us anywhere 3 hours a day, competitive streaming market, because they know I love the old man and they know the old man loves the kid, and behind us symbolically on his last day, Mike Ryan gave us that gift as just as the sort of formative leader of this crew of ridiculous people.
Same.
You guys are putting it perfectly.
Well said, Stugotz.
What else
It's
can I
hard for him
say?
to add to that.
You know, I was in that conference room, and I was thinking to myself how much Dave loved a good conference room, and so he would have loved that conference
Yeah,
room.
he would have.
He would have.
Yeah,
There's
big
no
time.
question about it.
Yeah, no doubt.
He would have loved the sandwiches.
Great walls.
He would have.
Miss you, Dave.
The rare 3-door room.
Lucy, why does Dan Marino think you're stalking him?
I'm not stalking him.
Transition.
So I know this feels a weird thing for me to follow, but everything's fine. I am not stalking Dan Marino. Just want that super clear. I worked an event a few months ago that Dan Marino was at, and for what I was doing, I kept having to go up and talk to him. But the people I was working with wouldn't tell him that I was also working this event. So I just kept going up to him. I took 15 photos with him. He kept being like, "Hey, girl, what's up?" And every single time it was the same conversation. I'm like, "I am just such a big fan of you," which I'm not. And so
Oh,
I'm
no.
not a fan of him. I'm not a fan of him.
Nothing
but I'm
wrong
not-
with that. No.
Oh,
I'm not
oh, no.
the way how many times I went up to him, he probably thought I was the most important person in his life. And unfortunately, Caitlin Clark is not him. So I just kept going up to him. He was like, "Hey, I remember you. And then he was over at the DraftKings setup at Radio Row, and I was like, he's going to think I'm following. So I had to duck. I had to hide at Radio Row because I didn't want Dan Marino to think that I'm stalking him, which I am not, by the way.
You were just trying to get some influence?
I was trying to get a paycheck, which I got, and that was awesome. But I wish they had let him know that I was there for work and not just because I'm like a super Dan Marino fan, which he's fine and great and was very nice to me the 15 times I had to go up and reintroduce myself to him.
Greg, for me, going back for just a second, earnestly, it was a really cool moment to watch you do this because I'm someone, obviously, who loves theater and performing and had to try to make the choice in between performing and sports media. And I know for you, as someone who was a sports columnist, to be able to now have this dream of performing in Vegas, realized it had to be so emotional because it made me emotional to see you as someone in front of me.
This is the new and unimproved Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.
Stugotz, there are a bunch of things that I do want to get to, but not before burying Jeremy Taché for what he just did at the end of that segment.
Yeah.
That Billy, who's in charge, seemed to enjoy. So I'm going to have to get to the bottom of what's happening here, because if Billy's going to be in charge, I'm going to need Billy to be in charge. And but I'm going to explain. But I'm going to explain not only to the audience, but you too, Billy, what happened to me at the end of that segment, lest you think that it not take just a little bit to produce me. My friend's emotional behind me on a genuinely emotional moment. I cannot see him. He's talking to me. I can feel him, but I cannot see him. Normally he'd be sitting here, and I know that if I did see him, he would start crying and I would start crying.
Same.
And if that had happened, I was worried that it wouldn't be quite as authentic as it would feel if I was seeing him eye to eye, and so I just threw the show to Lucy and her stalking story.
Good story.
And yeah, it was a good story.
you.
And she held it for 90 seconds, at the end of which Jeremy whispered into my ear, "Hey, Dan, I can earnestly walk the old man right into the hard net workout if you just toss me the ball from here." And Stugotz and I have told Jeremy for 6 months, you talk too much.
Oh.
You cut it up a little bit. It's too fat. And so he earnestly walks him to the break and then stumbles over the finish line. And he wants to be a performer.
Well, for what it's worth, it was a loose ball. I thought you were going to toss the ball back so I could let them know, hey, let the hard network out breathe for a second.
Right.
And then I grab the loose ball and I run. I run with it, and then Billy cuts me off with the hard network out.
What?
I am furious by this. I cannot believe what you just did to me, Billy.
He still sounds happy even when he's furious.
He has an Emmy.
I'm happy.
The junior member
so
of the
cool.
Hee Haw 3 deserves more respect than that.
Thank
I'll tell
you,
that
Greg.
right now. Right now.
He tried to lead you into the hard network out.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Weren't you going to lead us in musically today? I thought you were going to lead us in. I thought you were here to.
He missed the pre-show meetings. because
Bright
he
light
was-
city, gonna set
there we
my
go.
soul, gonna set my soul on fire. Viva Greg Cody. Viva Greg Cody. Viva, viva Greg Cody.
So good.
I thought that we were going to lead each segment today with him singing us into the break like we were going to be like a show that does things with a musical act, a rising star musical act.
Yeah, but Jeremy wouldn't stop talking, so
Right.
we couldn't
I
end the
hate you
segment with
guys.
that. Yeah.
All of you.
We're trying.
Except for Lucy.
All right, Greg,
you.
I don't know if you're going to do the whole show back there or not, but I'd like to talk about a different show because Lucy watched The Daily Show last night, and I was eager to see what Jon Stewart would do, Stugotz, because I had not even realized the dilution by degrees that has been that show with Trevor Noah, and I mean it as no insult whatsoever to Trevor Noah. Jon Stewart, an impossible act to follow. But when he came back and was the same Jon Stewart, and you're like, oh my God, this is a voice of our times. This is the comedic voice of our times in the funny space. I was delighted to hear that Lucy was just eating it up last night.
Oh, it was awesome. It was like he didn't miss a beat at all. Now, I know I'm like young, but when when Jon Stewart retired from The Daily Show, I was 16. But my dad made me watch The Daily Show as a kid growing up, which sometimes felt a little inappropriate for my age, but for the most part, I'm grateful for it. So I've like grown up with Jon Stewart and always loved it. It was so natural. It was like just a reminder, like Trevor Noah didn't do a bad job, but it's so clear that Jon Stewart is the absolute best at what he does. Like there is no second place, and just it felt exactly like the old Daily Shows felt to me.
I'm not sure that Trevor Noah, who seems a kind and decent person, would object to what I'm about to say on his behalf. That he made that show that great and held up the legacy of Jon Stewart is a tribute to what a great job that he did in an impossible position to follow that guy. And he did it honorably, did it well, and the burden of it eventually is like, okay, I'm going to do stand-up. It's going to be more relaxed. It's not going to have so much politics in it. It's not going to be 80-hour work weeks grinding because nobody knows how hard it is to make those things well.
But you guys were surprised that Jon Stewart was still able to do it the way Jon Stewart has always done it?
This is perfect for a number of different reasons. He's only going to be able to do it once a week. He cannot live the life of 5 times a week being smarter than everyone else with a writer's room. John Oliver needs weeks and months off with many writers to be the smartest thing every week. look, let me explain to you the degree of difficulty on what it is that man created as a legacy. They come into the space. They're the talk of our times. They say the smartest things best. Funny and smart. Fair. That's how he became the newsman of our generation, Stugotz. Like, now people are grabbing on to Chappelle and Rogan and wherever, and Russell Brand and wherever it is that they want to find they're funny. This dude in America, during a less complicated time than this one, is coming out of retirement because it's important that you hear his voice when Apple didn't want it. Apple didn't want that voice for our times. So he said, I'll do this on Monday, once a week, in the most important election year that we've ever had.
It's interesting that Lucy's into it because I've been reading that ever since he left, the age has just gone up. When he was there originally, the median age was 48, and now it got up to 63. And I feel like if we really want this show to get back, it needs to that number needs to be lower.
People need to understand that he is the standard for political commentary and comedy. There is none better. He is the best. And the fact that he has the energy that he was pouring into that Apple show, which was amazing. The Apple show was where all of his efforts creatively. Now it's going to be once a week, right up until the election. Monday night, you're going to have to watch him on wherever it is, not wait for it either. Like, he's going to guerrilla his way into the game where, okay, Bill Maher, John Oliver, you're the voices for our time. No, now I've got my team back with me that carried my legacy with Trevor Noah, and I'm going to kick your ass every Monday election night, and I'm going to do late night better than Colbert. I birthed him. Better than Oliver. I birthed him. My tree's the most amazing thing in the game, and he's coming to talk. Man, he's been fighting for veterans. He's been fighting for first responders. He's been on the right side of everything, and we trust him to be a voice during these times. I cannot wait for the next, 26 weeks of what he does with that platform.
But what does it actually mean, though? What is him being back, other than the satire around this stuff is better, it's smarter, we enjoy watching it more, but does it actually make a difference? Does it change people's votes?
Will his voice make an impact?
Absolutely.
It's a good question.
Yeah, he's the one person where if you look at political commentators, I know he's more of a comedian. Both sides really do like Jon Stewart, not the extreme people on either side, but he's someone who his voice and his satire just cuts through all of the bullshit that I genuinely I know people who are on the different side of the political, spectrum as I am, and they like Jon Stewart as well, just because he cuts through it all with his humor.
But what if Superman and Batman decided to only solve crimes on Monday?
Yeah. 5 days a week?
I feel like,
if it's that important.
We're leaving up a lot of time for crime.
As soon as you get to Tuesday, you're like, all right, we got 6 days.
Exactly
Let's
right.
do this.
Then the criminals just take off Monday, I would think, right?
Well,
they're not 50, though.
But he's saying things that are happening throughout the week, Billy. It's not like he's just talking about things that happen on Monday.
I know, but if the election and the times are that important and you're a voice that can impact change, then you need to show up 5 days a week.
So it's not enough for you guys.
Correct.
What I was saying, I imagine the way that he's doing this is what the 80 hours of him that Apple was getting, that again, I will remind you, in the times of today, corporate Apple said, no thanks, Jon Stewart. We don't actually want the greatest of things. Even though the television you're making here for us is amazing, we're going to have creative differences. For them to now birth a freedom that Jon Stewart can pour all 80 of those hours into making sure that his show every week is what John Oliver's show. He's about to do what John Oliver does weekly, a sprint with comedy. And the reason that he does it so well is because, Lucy, during these times, political times, screaming at people, sermonizing, morally outraged doesn't work. But if you make them laugh, if you can make them laugh because you're unerringly fair all the time and you're funny, they will just like you and they will trust you more. And I'd kind of like some news people to be people we like and trust more when one of the platforms is fake news everywhere that kills journalism, as I try to prop up the remains of his career.
In a time where you have such an issue with, you know what, Greg? You go ahead.
He's doing just fine.
I interrupted him. Yeah. He's a team member. I'm go ahead.
He's propping you up.
It's on me. I got to stop talking.
It was a long pause by my dad.
Very long pause.
We were all looking
is
is
so
he going
awkward.
here?
I was going to weigh in on Jon Stewart because now I haven't caught up and seen Monday's show yet, okay? But I read an instant review that was actually mildly critical, and the genesis of the review was, is he too partisan for these times? Is the new Jon Stewart going to play in 2024 where he's sort of, playing both sides as a matter of.
Is he too
course.
fair?
Yes, that
is he too fair?
In essence,
no, he's saying is he too left?
Or too partisan or too bipartisan. Is that going to play in 2024 where everyone's divided and you have to take sides? That's not my opinion. That's what the review said.
That's kind of what I was asking. While I find him so entertaining, I'm curious if it will make a difference.
The middle is where the vote gets decided.
I hope it's yes. I'm not saying I don't think it will be. I'm just in this day where everyone seems to be so set in their ways.
What we've learned, Jeremy, especially since the last time Jon Stewart was on doing this show 5 days a week, is people are far from the middle. A lot of people are far from the middle.
But that's where the
There are
actual
extreme
election
lefts
gets decided.
And extreme rights.
Right, but those people exist, and they're 40% on each side of it, and then there's a 20% in the middle. And those people are ultimately the ones who will swing this election in particular, where you have Biden and Trump going against each other, who both have the exact same approval rates. So ultimately, Jon Stewart can make as much of an impact as anyone in this sphere by being bipartisan.
Billy, you seem to be making faces. Is Jeremy talking too much?
Nah, he's doing his thing. He has an Emmy.
I really tried to get out of there quick.
Yeah.
I had so much more to say.
That was good.
You should have just talked. No one knew that Greg was trying to talk on the audio front. No one saw his hand.
Greg, are you out of material back there? I usually do the show through you. Are you going to sit here at some point? Or
You got to invite him to the desk, Dan.
Oh,
That's
you
part of being a
as
musical
big
guest.
Okay,
Exactly
let's
right.
do this. Do me the favor. Can we let's
nice
stay?
of you.
Let's
Thank
give
you.
him a bonus YouTube segment here. Where
what?
Greg Cody? Yes, you heard me.
Oh,
We're
boy.
gonna go. That's right. Well, you're in charge now.
Well, it doesn't sound like it.
Greg Cody sings us into. He was supposed to be here. Greg, sing us in the way that you would normally sing us in if we had done this correctly, please.
Love, look at the two of us.
Vegas.
Too much beer last night, huh?
Yeah, my voice is spent.
Take it from the top.
I'm telling you, I have no top. That's the problem.
Start again.
Love, look at the two of us.
This is the new and unimproved Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.
Greg Cody, you want to sing us in? You want to sing us in as if we're doing a bonus segment here for YouTube?
Drink it up. This one's for you. It's been a lovely cruise. I'm sorry it's ending. Oh, it's sad, but it's true, honey. It's been a lovely cruise.
That's why he's the star.
These moments were left.
That's
with.
on.
Yeah,
Sorry,
thank
sorry.
you.
No,
Encore.
I-
Well,
No, keep going.
No, I'm sorry. Please keep going. I didn't mean. I
interrupted
didn't
you,
mean
yeah.
to
The
interrupt
opposite
you.
of an
we'll
Kind of a long
always
pause again.
remember these moments are shared by few of those harbor lights. Oh, they're coming into view. Honey, it's been a lovely cruise. Boy, I really did leave my voice in Vegas.
That's all right. That's
Wow.
it. You left it all on the field.
Yes.
I mean, there's no look. What a performance! A tour de force for one solid week of living his best youthful life. He conquered Vegas. Look, Greg Cody. Can you guys get me the sound of him on stage? And this is when we started to witness the descent. I believe he was complaining about his wife on stage and not missing his wife. Now, keep in mind, he's...
My wife and I had to talk about that.
Yeah, I'm sure you
I
did.
had to explain it was just a bit.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
wait
bit.
a minute. It's not just a bit.
You walk that fine line.
All right, listen. This was a moment of unbridled, uncommon honesty.
I am wondering, though, because Greg left as Greg and came back a big star. Is she looking at you differently, Greg? I mean,
yeah, for sure, yeah. I think she's a little resentful. It's weird coming back down to earth, though. You know, one day, literally performing live on stage in Las Vegas, and the next day I'm in the pet aisle at Publix, asking a guy why my brand of dog food isn't in stock right now.
Right.
And so, it's a down-to-earth moment. The paparazzi, obviously, were following me into Publix, so there wasn't a private moment for me. But, it was just weird having to come back down to earth. I asked my PA to get the dog food for me, and she just wasn't available at that time because she was making that arrangement for Hee Haw 3 Day in Miami-Dade County this morning, the thing we had. And so, it's been hectic. It's been hectic.
Right,
I will say I agree with him. The dinner at home after Vegas is always sad. It's like this hamburger helper just doesn't slap the same after a week in Vegas.
Billy?
I like my family. I had a nice time when
No, I didn't say anything about my family. The dinner, though. That first home dinner. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, just this packaged hamburger helper.
Sure.
Can you guys just get me the sound, though? This was Greg Cody at Maximum Relax. Keep in mind, we were there for the ascent. Chris, this is fair. An ascent into superstardom. He rocked the Super Bowl. Everyone took notice of Greg Cody. Great, wait a minute. What's that noise over there downtown? The coolest place, downtown Vegas. What happened? Surrounded by live music at the biggest party, Greg Cody. Greg Cody won the Super Bowl, and then he immediately forgot about his wife and everything that got him there.
Are there any good Greg Cody stories not told by Greg Cody about Greg Cody before we get him out of here?
I have a couple, but I'm not telling them.
Baby!
That's my
that
guy.
kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
We don't.
No, you know what? I hadn't left the hotel until last night. I'm a very quiet man.
Yes.
I'm a married man. I don't cheat on my wife, despite that gratuitous line back in my day. That I wrote. I wish you were here, my wife. I really miss her. No, I don't. That's the thing about being married. You're not allowed to say, I don't miss my wife. I've been gone 2 days. I haven't been gone long enough to miss my wife. I'm sorry. I call her. I'm on the phone with her for 30 seconds. What am I? Hello. All right. We'll see ya. All right. And then, I'm going to see her in 2 days. I was jumping Charlie. Good. And that's it.
That kind of thing.
Exactly. That kind of thing.
So you miss her or you don't miss her?
Make up your mind.
I miss you. I wish you were here. But no, I mean, come on.
Yeah, no.
I've been married for like 40 years, 43 years. Why? I'm allowed to be away from my wife. And you know what? She doesn't miss me, I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. It's a break for her. She's on vacation without me there. Are you kidding me?
And you know it,
baby, and you know it. And you know it, baby, and you know it. And you know it, baby, and you know it.
And you know it,
baby, and you know it.
How's Jumpin' Charlie?
And you know it,
baby, and you know it.
How's Jumpin' Charlie was the greatest of the emotional intimacies he shared with his wife.
How's Jumpin' Charlie? Good.
What more are you going to say? I talk to her every day of my life.
Right.
I 2 days without talking to her wouldn't be a crime, but you have to call. There's that obligatory call.
You have to call.
Yeah.
I will say, since we're getting emotional and perhaps Greg Cody doesn't realize this, no one enjoyed the absurdity more of you getting videos of you on that screen singing those songs, radiant, as happy as she's ever seen her man, than your wife. I was sending her secret videos of all of that. And I will say this to the audience and to Greg Cody. The only reason that woman tolerates this fool is because he's funny. The only reason.
And the sex.
Whoa.
Baby.
Baby! Hey, that kind of thing. I'm talking about that kind of thing.
How many times do I have to tell you to move a little further back from your mic? That's too far.
It's Greg, bitch.
Splash. He's a new man.
That felt like a Lewis line.
That's a T-shirt. That's a T-shirt. It's Greg Bitch with this persona right here.
And the sex.
That's an attitude. that is an attitude. You are telling others. Do you know what you're telling others about yourself when you give them this photo and I'm Greg Bitch? Only he can navigate these tough political times.
That's right.
He should be on instead of
Everyone
Stewart.
knows what he means. There's nothing behind the word bitch other than he's Greg.
You got that right. I'm Greg Cody, and that's how it was back in my day.
Do you have one this week?
Do you have
no.
one? Why don't you have one?
Tuesday after Vegas,
Yeah.
Dan. Everyone knows.
Quality
Right.
control, yeah.
You know, what stays in Vegas stays in Vegas, or whatever that line is.
Next
So
week's
my
President's
back in my
Day, it's a
stayed
whole
in
thing.
Vegas. Hee-haw 3, ba-dap.
He's right. So do you want him to sit there or just keep doing whatever he's doing?
I like him up there.
Well, if I may, okay. If we're gonna get to,
Are we gonna do normal show? Or we're just gonna have this the whole time.
Okay, no, I'm gonna go.
I'm so tired of this character already.
I think it's going great.
Look at the smile on his
Well,
face.
you would, Billy, and this is why everyone fears putting you in charge.
Splash.
You let Jeremy ramble. You let
Come
him.
on.
You let him come in here whenever he wants.
Hell yeah.
He won an Emmy, Dan.
And you've got Greg Cody behind me. The key to this show is chemistry. You've got him behind me the entire show, and he wants to talk seriously about himself and how wonderful he was this week. Like, he doesn't want it to all be jokes. I'd say the only frustration that Greg has with me I don't know how much of our friendship is that he doesn't get to show his serious side more often, where Tony Kornheiser gets the best of him there because we're always jostling him into the clown position around here because his wife loves him the same way that I do. He's funny as the clown.
Same.
So are you. That's right. That is correct.
Yes, sir. Who needs me? Do I emote now?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Am I being serious now?
we've got 3 minutes left in the segment. There will be a hard net workout. These 3 minutes are exclusive to the YouTube audience live right now. Bonus content here to celebrate you. They're going to make your podcast the biggest thing this week with the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody because you've got the exclusive interview with Hee Haw 3.
Right. Yeah, a lot of backstory on the origin of Hee Haw 3, which there may be a documentary coming up on that, but I don't want to reveal too much. The thing you did, Dan, yesterday was very kind, and you referred to the health issues I had a few years ago. And I hadn't really considered that a few years ago I would not have dared to go on stage anywhere, let alone Las Vegas, because I could not have gotten through a single song without coughing. And I don't think anybody but my wife knows how bad it got for me at one point.
No, we know. You were passing out at Highlight. We were all scared for you, Greg. You're stubborn, and everyone who loves you was deeply scared for you.
What people didn't realize, though, is that there were months, there was most of an entire year when I could not sleep in my own bed. I had to sleep on the far side of the house, as far away from Erlene as possible, because she needed her sleep. And I was chronically, continually, nonstop coughing to the point of tears. And I remember, sitting up at 3:15 a.m. and saying to myself, I cannot go on like this. Graceland, my granddaughter, was very young, and she was just beginning to talk. And one of the first things she said was, "Stop coughing, Pop." And I couldn't. And I really wondered how long I was going to be around to see her grow. And to have recovered my health to a large degree right now is a real blessing. And that all came forth in Las Vegas and being able to do what I did.
90 more seconds.
I'm out of material. I mean, I could start going into detail on how bad it got for me. But the point is, thanks to medicine and some good doctors and everything,
and laughter.
Yeah, laughter helps.
Medicine more though.
Laughter,
laughter.
Yeah.
Honestly, laughter.
Not Patch Adams.
Laughter is the best medicine.
At this point, laughter's the only thing that makes him cough.
That's true. If I laugh spontaneously, that does make me cough. I pop a couple of prednisone, my magic drug, magic pill, and I'm all better.
Now we're carried away.
So laughter's actually killing you. It's the worst medicine.
That's right. Yes. When I laugh, I come as close to death as
he
I
laughs. He
possibly
starts
can.
coughing. He can't catch his breath, and then he passes out at high line. That's correct.
That's right. Yeah.
So laughter is not only medicine. Laughter is sickness.
Correct. Yeah, it's tough to balance that.
That really backfired on me spiritually.
I'm a laughing man.
Until you die.
I'm Greg Cody, and that's how it was back in my day.
You don't have one today, though.
No, I don't. I left it in Vegas. I had a script all written. I left it on the plane when I was sleeping for 19 hours in a row. And Jess, by the way, was drunker than me that night, and she stole my water. I want that on
She
record.
did.
Stole your water?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll tell
Right
that
off
after
the
the break.
table.